Quick Flicks presents The Water Horse Legend of the Deep. The story begins in Scotland, where an American couple who are tourists are looking at a picture of a monster and say, "This is a fake monster picture." Nearby, an old man is sitting and he says, "You're right, but let me tell you the story of the real monster." The couple approaches the old man and he begins to tell the story. He says that many years ago, in the year 1942, when World War II was going on, there was a little boy named Angus. He lived with his mother and sister. His father had gone to fight in World War II, but never returned. Angus was very afraid of seawater. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he found a large egg. He picked it up and took it home, where there was a storeroom near the house. He placed the egg in the storeroom and cleaned it. Just then, his mother called him, so he left the egg there and went inside. But that night, it started raining heavily. Suddenly, he heard some noises coming from his workshop, where he had kept the egg. Angus ran to check, but he couldn't see anything. When he stepped outside the storeroom, he saw a strange creature. This creature had hatched from the same egg Angus had brought from the shore. Angus tried to touch the creature, but it attacked him. He realized that it might be hungry, so he went inside and brought a potato for it. Then he fed the potato to the creature. Angus noticed that the creature was also injured, so he put a bandage on its wound. Just then, his mother called him again, so he left the creature there and went back inside. The next morning, when Angus woke up, he saw that a lot of soldiers had arrived at their house. Since Angus's family lived near the sea, the army had come to monitor the area and ensure that the German forces did not enter their country through the sea. In times of war, such situations were common. Soldiers could stay at anyone's house, and now they had come to stay at Angus's home. When Angus went to his workshop, he saw that everything was scattered around, but the creature looked extremely hungry. Since there were soldiers all over the house, he couldn't find any food for it. So he brought a garbage bin and placed it in front of the creature. The creature dived inside and ate everything it could find. Angus named the creature Crusoe. Crusoe and Angus became very good friends. Angus also realized that Crusoe needed water, so he filled the garbage bin with water and put Crusoe inside. The moment Crusoe entered the water, he became very happy. A boy named Louis then arrived at Angus' house. He had been sent there to help Angus' mother. When Angus' mother entered the storeroom, she saw that everything was scattered. She suspected that Angus was up to something. Just then, Louis also entered and said, "I'm here to help you." But Angus' mother said, "I think Angus has kept a pet here and he's not allowed to have pets. If you see any pet, take it out of this room." After saying this, she left and Louis started cleaning up. Then Angus arrives there and sees that his Crusoe is nowhere to be found. Louis scolds Angus and chases him away as he's cleaning. Angus then tries to find Crusoe, but he cannot find him anywhere. Meanwhile, Crusoe is shown to have grown even bigger in size. He follows the sound of water dripping from the bathroom, searching for his friend Angus. Crusoe enters the bathtub, and just then, Angus's sister walks into the bathroom. The moment she sees Crusoe, she screams and runs away. Hearing his sister's screams, Angus rushes to her and takes her back to the bathroom, where Crusoe is happily enjoying the bathtub. Angus tells his sister, "Don't tell anyone about this creature." At first, she refuses, but later she agrees because she realizes that Angus, who was always sad before, is now happy. Just then, Louis arrives to fix the bathroom tap. Despite their hesitation, they have to open the door for him. When he enters and sees the creature, he's initially scared, but soon finds it adorable. He tries to reach out to it, but Crusoe panics and attacks. Louis then explains to them that this is a water horse. He tells them that many years ago, the last water horse on Earth laid an egg, but before it could hatch, the water horse died. Just then, Angus hears his mother coming. His mother enters the washroom, but the three of them quickly hide Crusoe. The next night, Angus, his mother, and his sister have to attend a dinner party hosted by the army officers. Before leaving, Angus feeds Crusoe and then exits the bathroom, but he accidentally leaves the door open, allowing Crusoe to wander out. The army officers also have a dog in the house, which starts chasing Crusoe in an attempt to save himself. Crusoe runs wildly around and eventually reaches the army's dinner party area. Crusoe emerges from under the dining table while the dog jumps over it, creating chaos and ruining the party as food and dishes crash everywhere. Angus also spots Crusoe and chases after him. When Angus steps outside, he can no longer see Crusoe. Just then, Louis arrives and tells him, "Go inside, I'll find Crusoe." However, even after searching all night, they cannot find Crusoe. The next morning, as Louis searches again, he sees that Crusoe has grown significantly larger and is now happily bathing in the fountain. This means they can no longer hide Crusoe inside the house because of his massive size. That's why both of them take Crusoe to the sea, as they know that he now has to return to the ocean. Louis tries to take Crusoe into the water, but Crusoe resists because he wants to stay with Angus. However, Angus has also realized that Crusoe belongs in the sea. That is his real home. Both of them leave Crusoe in the middle of the ocean and return home. After reaching home, the army captain assigns Angus to military training and keeps him busy at all times. But one day, Angus gets a chance to visit the sea to meet his best friend, Crusoe. Standing by the shore, he calls out for his friend, but Crusoe does not appear. Angus is very afraid of water, but despite his fear, he takes a boat and heads toward the sea. Moments later, Crusoe emerges from behind him, now a giant creature. He has grown into a massive water horse, and Angus is overjoyed to see him. They embrace each other, and Crusoe lifts Angus onto his back, taking him on a ride across the sea. At first, Angus is terrified, but soon he starts enjoying the experience. Just then, an army cook arrives and spots Angus with the water horse. Angus tells Crusoe to return to the water and quickly heads home. He shares the entire experience with his sister and feels incredibly happy. Meanwhile, his mother notices the three of them together and feels pleased to see them so joyful. Louis also sees Angus's mother through the window and comes in to talk. He reveals that he was once a soldier himself. He fought in a war where he was severely injured and almost lost an arm. That's why he left the army and now works as a helper. The army captain, however, notices Louis talking to Angus's mother and becomes jealous, as he has secretly developed feelings for her. He orders his men to check Louis's military records. Upon reviewing his files, they find that Louis was indeed a soldier, but his record is completely clean. This makes the captain even more furious. Meanwhile, in a city bar, a group of men discuss a giant sea creature that has been spotted in the ocean. Two of these men claim to have seen the water horse themselves. The bar manager suggests capturing the monster so that once the war ends, people will visit to see it, increasing their profits. At the same time, the army captain arrives at the seashore with a unit of soldiers and sets up cannons all around. He orders them to fire into the water, believing that a German submarine might be hiding beneath the waves. Angus is horrified as he knows Crusoe is in the water. He tries to convince the soldiers and stop them, but no one listens. The captain grows even angrier at his interference. Seeing all this, Angus's mother also becomes sad and tells the captain that they should leave. In reality, the captain had called Angus's mother there to impress her, but now his plan had backfired. Meanwhile, the local people cannot see Crusoe in the water, so they create a fake model, place it in the water, and take a photo of it. At night, Angus and Louis head toward the sea, because Angus wants to see if his friend Crusoe is okay or not. Angus calls out to him, and Crusoe suddenly emerges from the water. However, because of the explosions that happened the day before, Crusoe is terrified and refuses to listen to Angus. He becomes extremely aggressive. Seeing this, Angus feels heartbroken and realizes that he shouldn't have left Crusoe in the water, but should have kept him by his side. Because of this, he even gets into a fight with Louis. After this, both of them return home. Meanwhile, the army learns that there is a monster in the water, so they set out on their boat to eliminate it. Suddenly, Crusoe appears in front of them and attacks. He overturns the boat and grabs a man in his mouth. Before he can harm him, Angus arrives and pleads with him to let the man go. At the same time, another army officer is about to shoot Crusoe, but Louis stops him. This enrages the officer, and he beats Louis badly. Then he tries to shoot Crusoe, but his gun has no bullets. Meanwhile, Angus, heading toward Crusoe in the water, starts drowning since he doesn't know how to swim. Seeing this, Crusoe releases the man he was holding in his mouth and rushes to save Angus. He grabs Angus in his mouth and pulls him out of the water, saving his life. At this moment, Angus's mother and the captain also arrive. Angus tells everyone about Crusoe, but no one believes him, especially his mother. But then Crusoe appears behind him, shocking everyone, and now his mother finally believes him. She had previously thought Louis was feeding Angus false stories. Just then, gunfire starts toward Crusoe. The nearby army officers believe there might be a German submarine in the area. Crusoe tries to escape, but Angus climbs onto his back. Now the captain, Louis, and Angus's mother get into a boat to follow them because they want to save Angus. Angus leads Crusoe toward the net, beyond which Crusoe can reach the depths of the ocean, his true home. Watching Crusoe leave, Angus finally accepts that his father is no longer in this world. Until now, he had never truly come to terms with it. At the same time, Angus's mother feels her love for Angus deepen, meaning that both of them are ready to move forward in life. After this, many people claim to have seen Crusoe in the sea, but Angus never saw him again. The story then shifts back to the present, where an old man is telling this entire tale to American tourists. The tourists ask for his name and he replies, "My name is Angus." This means the old man is the same boy who once raised the water horse. After this, it is shown that a child is playing by the seashore and he finds an egg just like the one Angus had found many years ago. This means that Crusoe had left one of its eggs there, and from this egg, another water horse will hatch. With this wonderful story comes to an end. Friends, if you also wish to have a friend like Crusoe who takes you on ocean adventures, then subscribe to this channel and like the video.